We are back now talking to an author, a Grosse Pointe author, a very successful author. Margaret Carroll started a writing book 7 years ago, and we have to have you tell the story as to how that happened, because it's both sad and happy. It's sad because of a loss of a spouse, but it's phenomenal with a almost 8-year-old daughter now doing very well.
Yes, she is.
And you're authoring. Margaret is a graduate of George Washington University.
Yes, I am.
You were in journalism there, thinking that was going to be your career.
Yes.
And so tell us the story. What happened to you?
Well, it was a terrific career, and I specialized in luxury travel. I always say it was a tough job, but someone had to do it. And I was director of PR for British Airways in the USA for 10 years. And then it was so much fun. Twice a year, I got to bring groups of journalists all over the world.
Wow.
Oh, it was just fantastic. But you can't do that when you become a mom.
No.
So we moved here for my husband's job, and
tell us about his job real fast.
He took a job litigating for the IRS,
Right.
Very large companies.
Wow.
He had his LLM, and he went after companies that were in violation of international pricing transfers. I don't know what he did. He got dressed up every day in a suit, and he went off to work, and it was great.
You moved to Detroit, moved to Grosse
Yeah,
Pointe.
we did.
So then what happened?
So we had just bought our house here in Grosse Pointe Farms, and he went down to New Mexico to go to a men's prayer retreat weekend. And he and his best friend from down there went for a ride. They had just left Mass, and they were on their way to this Christian conference center in Pecos.
They went for a ride on?
On a Harley Davidson. Him and his friend were on motorcycles, and there was an accident, and he was hurt very badly, and he died. My husband died at the scene before help could arrive.
How old was he?
Let me think. If it was 48. He was 48.
Wow.
Yeah.
He had experience with motorcycles.
Yeah, he was a very experienced rider. He was wearing his leathers head to toe. He was wearing a helmet, even though it wasn't required in New Mexico. And I'll just climb on my soapbox here. Motorcycles are dangerous. I'm against them. I'm against them. It always made me really nervous.
Well, what happened? Here you are. You had just moved to Grosse Pointe. This is Margaret Carroll, an author. Well, your husband has this terrible accident in New Mexico. He dies. Here you are with a 1-year-old child?
14 months.
14-month-old child.
We had lived in our house for 3 weeks.
3 weeks, and what did you do?
I sat and shook for 6 months. I really
6
did.
months.
Yeah, I could tell you the spot on the wall that I stared at. I sat on my couch for 6 months. And I had calls from all the people, wonderful people, offering me jobs. I could have gone to London. I could have gone back to New York, where I'm from. I could have gone to LA. I could have gone to a lot of places. I had a 14-month-old baby, a dog, a bunch of stuff, and in this house. So I sat for 6 months and shook on that couch. And then I woke up one day and I said, I'm getting rid of the couch, first of all. And then I thought, I had always had this dream of writing fiction. And I really, truly thought, I have one dream left. Maybe God would make it come true.
And you did it.
I did. I started writing. I couldn't sleep. That was the other thing. When you go through a terrible sudden loss like that, you don't sleep. So my rule was stay in bed till 4 o'clock in the morning, because I really thought only crazy people get out of bed before 4 in the morning. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I got up. Me and the dog got up. I got my cup of coffee, and I started writing until the baby woke up at about 7. And after a year, I had a whole pile of pages, and it was a book, and it was great. And it made me so happy, and I didn't know if anyone else would think it was good. And I sent off one query letter to a publisher that was all wrong, and they turned me down. And I sent off one more query letter right away, and they bought the book. Wow. And they wanted to buy a second book. So I wrote that, and they were 2 very tender, sweet romances. You can get them at the library. The Right Match and The True Match, and they're just adorable. They're about young women finding their way in New York City and trying to have it all. The good apartment, the great boyfriend, the great career, and they're just adorable.
Wow.
But that wasn't what I really wanted to write. I had always really wanted to write suspense. I wanted to write like Mary Higgins Clark.
Wow.
So I wrote a scary book, a really scary book. And it took me 3 years to find an agent to sell that, but I finally landed with John Grisham's agent in New York. Yep,
Wow.
the Gernert Company. And they sold it in about a day. This is like beyond my wildest dreams. I got a 2-book worldwide deal with Avon HarperCollins.
Wow.
Yes, and that book is A Dark Love. And it's a really scary book. It's set partly in Washington, D.C., partly in Colorado. It's about a young wife on the run from an abusive husband and his efforts to track her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really a lot of fun. I had nightmares after I wrote it, but it was good. And then they wanted that book, and they said, we'll buy another book from you, too. And what else are you working on? And I thought, I better think of something. So I had this idea about a woman who comes to in rehab and with the news that her husband has drowned. And the problem is she can't remember if she hired someone to kill him or not.
Oh,
I know you see there's a pattern here, John. The wife, the young wife, the grieving widow, the dead man. I don't know.
Listen, it's experience. I
That's right.
It's you come out of your experience.
Yeah.
But you've been a very successful. The
that
books
book
can be purchased all over.
Yes, they
the
can.
The bookstores and Walmart and Target and every place.
Both books. You go into any bookstore, there they are.
Margaret
the second
Carroll,
one is
it's right on the book there.
Yes, I write under my own name. I'm
Yes.
easy to find. You could go to my website, margaretcarroll.com.
And it's two L's. It's
Yes.
C-A-R-O-C-A, two R's, two L's.
Yes. Yes.
And Margaret, okay, all right.
Yes.
And the so you've had success.
Oh, it's been great.
I mean,
They're a lot
there's
of
the
fun.
books. There's the books right there.